Welcome to the APPNA MERIT Healthcare Research and Innovation and Landscape in Pakistan webinar series. We've been doing these seminars from this platform for more than 2 years, and these seminars happen every other Saturday, so it's bi-weekly. And from the US Standard Time, which is going to change, it's at 12, and then in Pakistan, it's 9 p.m., and then depending on where you're joining from, the corresponding time from there. So APPNA, as you know, is the Association of Pakistani Physicians in North America, and this subcommittee is called MERIT, which is the Medical Education, Research, International Training, and Transfer of Technology. So under this subcommittee, we have this series of webinars where we are trying to bring mover and shakers from both sides of the continent, from North America and from Pakistan, and trying to bring them at the same platform so we can have resource sharing and understand what is the landscape, and then try to build from there some collaborations and at least to have some data if somebody wants to take these further. So after the webinars, these recordings are available at our YouTube channel and also on our WhatsApp groups. So if you have not joined, so please join the Digital Library WhatsApp group. We can leave the link in the chat where you can join. We have a lot of resources for research and other related transfer technology type of things there, as well as the recordings. And then you, of course, at the YouTube channel you have. So there's a whole bunch of resources for anyone who's looking for what is going on in Pakistan, or what is our Pakistanis in North America doing. So please join those. So today, we are joined by Mr. ZAFAR Mahmood, who is the CEO of viSole Group of Companies. And just a disclaimer at this juncture is that APPNA is a nonprofit organization, and we bring people from corporate world to share their experience. But just a disclaimer that this is not an endorsement, or APPNA is not partnering with any of these corporations in any way, and is just mostly for information sharing. So with that disclaimer, I'm happy to give a little intro of our esteemed guest today. So Mr. Zafar Mahmood is the CEO of the viSole company, which is a trailblazer in reshaping Pakistan's healthcare industry, and they have a commitment to innovation and progress. And especially Mr. Zafar Mahmood has positioned himself in global marketing services and lab diagnostic systems at the forefront of healthcare solutions. They have also introduced cutting-edge in vitro diagnostic solutions to Pakistan, partnering with some of the world-renowned medical companies to ensure that the nation has access to these diagnostic solutions. He is driven by the dream to making Pakistan self-reliant in healthcare, and he took some bold steps in establishing the local local facilities for blood glucose monitoring, PCR testing, and so forth. So there's a huge, large intro, and of course, I can go on and on, but I think we are all waiting to listen from Mr. Zafar Mahmood. And before I hand it over to him, just a quick housekeeping is that we have panelists who will weigh in at the end of the webinar. Our Dr. Sayyid Uzair, Dr. Akhtar Hamid, Dr. Umar Hayat, they will say a few words at the end. And if you have any question and answers, there is a Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. Please put questions there, and we will try to get to them as much as possible. So with that, again, thank you so much, Mr. Zafar Mahmood, for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us and share your information. Please take it away.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, thank you very much. I'm very much thankful to the APPNA team, to organizers, management, and the leads. I think APPNA has started from the last 2 years, so I extend my heartiest congratulations to the team for completion of the last 2 years and making it a very, very strong platform, especially for Pakistanis across the globe to interact and to share their thoughts, ideas, and to make it a really successful seminar bi-monthly every month. And it has been a very, very popular among all the healthcare professionals. And I think this has been providing a lot of opportunities for the startup and for the different groups of the people from different, say, from the different life cycles, so they can interact. And this is serving as a very strong networking. And Dr. Zair is very famous for his networking. So I think this platform is serving his dream and, of course, converting his dream into a reality. So thank you very much for the introduction. And I will share my screen and will. So may I ask, is it visible to everyone?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So first of all, as I shared, that this has been last 2 years that APPNA has started this program. And I can recall that when during the COVID time, there were some sessions and there was some discussions about the pandemic. And this was in our lives, and we are the generations who have seen, I think, the world in a different perspective, especially the pandemic, COVID pandemic, after the Black Death, which caused around 200 million deaths, and of course, Spanish flu, which caused more than 50 million deaths. And COVID pandemic was, of course, a different kind of pandemic in the world, which world has seen, especially our generation, when almost it was a deadlock across the globe. Traveling was banned.
Sorry, Mr. Zafar, can you please little bit increase your volume or get closer to the mic, please, because the participant, they are requesting to be a little loud. Thank you very much.
Okay. So as I was sharing that during the pandemic, COVID pandemic, the world moved into a silence zone. It was the traveling was banned, and it was a kind when business was stopped everywhere. Social life was devastated, health structure failed, and it was the biggest threat, especially to those countries who were not resilient to the healthcare sectors, and they were not self-dependency, and they were depending on the import. Now I think this is clear.
A little different, but you need to please increase the volume or speak a little louder. Loud, please. Thank you.
Okay, now I think I will try to speak.
Yes, that's better. Please speak loud.
So during the pandemic COVID time, it was a time when I think we were suffering a lot, and those countries who are not ready to be in a position to depend on their own production, these were the countries who were suffering a lot. And this was a kind of different pandemic when diagnostic was more important than the treatment options. And it was globally, there was a more awareness come about the diagnostic, and because the diagnosis was more critical than the treatment during the COVID pandemic. And this was the time when a country like Pakistan, who was facing in a quite isolation, and there was no one who can help them because they were looking towards even World Health Organizations about all the developed countries, but no one was looking after those countries who are not in a position to produce their own material. Even like a device like a viral transport media, which was important for to collect the samples, the price went up to the 10 US dollar. And a country like Pakistan, of course, was not in a position to import, and there was no airlines was moving, everything was stopped. So this was the time when in the market, if you can see, if you can recall, if you could recall, unregistered rapid test, molecular diagnostics, genetic sequences was not accessible, especially in those countries. And there were a lot of hurdles like Pakistan. So this was the time when most of the government realized, like Pakistan, at the government level, to develop their own independency and self-reliance, especially for the diagnostics. And they were looking towards the developed countries. So at that moment of time, the local manufacturing came into a kind of like, and you can say on a full screen. And this was the time when absolutely in a country like Pakistan, what was the scenario? We are a country where at that time there was a zero production, absolutely zero production. There was a zero initiative by the government at that time. And only the unregistered and some solutions were available from some sort, from black market or from like you can say smuggling. And there was no option for PCR even at that time. All multinationals were selling only to their own countries. So in this situation, LDS took the first initiative to come forward. And I can recall the time when we started the working like 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. during the COVID time, and there was no movement on the road. But I started and I discussed with some of the stakeholders like AFIP and NIH, who also guided us and who are looking for some solutions. So they pushed us to support them. And this was the time when we started just in a very humble way with VTM, viral transport medium. And within few days, the viral transport medium, like we developed this viral transport medium within 3 to 6 months. And we developed the capacity to serve the country needs. And we were serving to about 70% of our total need in Pakistan within 6 months. And the price, which was around 10 USD when we started the production, cut down and came down to around zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.2 cent per VTM. So this was the change, which was like because of the emotions, because of the passion, and because of the situation. So this pushed us to into the production. So this we can say, if we just ask the answer that can the LDS was a product at that time as a need of the demand, as a need of the time. But I would say no, because there was an idea, there was a vision of the self-reliance. When we started this company with the name of Global Marketing Services in 2000. And since that time, we were thinking to move from import to substitute import with the local production. But of course, when when a situation arose during the COVID time, we moved into this situation. We performed during the situation, and because of the situation, the thing we have been thinking since the inception, but it came into the reality. So we opened this facility in 2022 because of this with the start of COVID. And then we moved from VTM to the other products, and we faced a lot of challenges. And during the emergency situation, I really appreciate that during even that time, the institute like Desto, like DRAP, like AFIP, NIH, they supported the idea. They come forward. I do not say they did not, I cannot say that they did not support it. They supported all the way because they planned they tried to support us. They gave us the idea in Pakistan, and there was no medical devices regulation. There was no medical devices manufacturing regulation. So in that situation, to support an idea, to provide them some sort of support, and to at least appreciate the idea, that was a real sport. So we come up as a first local manufacturing IVD facility in Pakistan. And at that time, it was looked as an impossible, but we made it possible within 6 months. And after the COVID, we moved our facility to the real situation, and we achieved the first IVD license as a ISO 13485. We got all the registration with DRAP. We got the CE marking, and we moved into the complete production lines. When we moved from outside the COVID, then we made it a real reality and real like a vision, which was in our mind, which was a dream in our mind. But then there was a lot of challenges in 2023, even just 1 year before, because when there was no industry in Pakistan, especially in IVD, diagnostics and medical devices, there was no team locally who are trained. There was no vendors. That was the big challenge, to develop the vendors, which which we are still facing, but I think we have some things which we have overcome during the last 1 and 2 years, that now we have developed the technical team, which was very difficult to find the technical people in Pakistan. We have to pay heavy cost because of the lack of experience. And of course, there was no protocol for the industry, and the DRAB was evaluating as a kind of pharma industry and as a kind of biological industry. So we have to definitely fight with them. We have to convince with them that devices and IVD industry is entirely different. What are the different? We need different requirement, different kind of treatment to get the registration. That was a big challenge. And of course, there was a cash liquidity and cost compatibility with Chinese manufacturers post-COVID. But with all these hurdles and challenges, within the last 1.5 years, we have crossed all those barriers. We have already received ISO 13485. We have already achieved CE compliance for more than 50 to 60 products which we are producing today. And we have already registered our products in the Middle East. Just LDS facility is the first IVD facility in Pakistan, which has been, as like we started as a pioneer of the industry, but now it has been registered in the Middle East as a local manufacturing facility from Pakistan, and many of our products have been registered there. So during this time, we train our team from with manufacturers. We sign with many organizations from Taiwan, China, and Korea, and some other countries, even Italian countries, for molecular diagnostics. We are the first company who signed during this month of July, during this month of June, while with this, I think I was part of the delegate with Prime Minister of Pakistan, who visited China in Shenzhen in June 2024. And during that visit, we signed a technology transfer agreement. I can say with proud, and I can say proudly that within within less than 3 months, in June we signed the agreement, MOU. In July, we transformed the MOU into a contract. And in August, we moved our team for the training to China. And then in September, a team from China visited Pakistan. In October, like just in this month, last month, we completed the local transformation of technology of Hep C real production, indigenous production into Pakistan. And this is the milestone which I think my whole team can feel proud that even in the pharma industry, like we are still struggling to produce the local APIs. But in IVD industry, the local API is, of course, the real manufacturing and coating of antigen antibody, which I think people know from who have the idea about the diagnostic. So we started producing Hep C rapid test locally manufactured in Pakistan, and we are the first one who have also launched self-test for hepatitis C. This is the first in the global scene that have self-test for hepatitis C is available. Based on that information, based on this experience, now we are moving to have like more infectious disease as a self-test available in Pakistan. And then we will be able to launch, and we are planning to launch into the Middle East countries and even other countries. And we are trying to have like CE compliance, and we are starting WHO phase 1 study in Pakistan. We have already signed CRO, and we are already in the process of finalization of the protocol of the study for a long way. For I think it will be around 5 to 10,000 people based study. And this will be fulfill the requirement for WHO to move our product into the export markets. But this technology transfer, Hep C, is very important for Pakistanis because we are moving for the eradication of hepatitis C. This challenge is the challenge which we have been facing, I think, over the decades. And till today, we are, I think, maybe first country, and we are the only country at this moment of time, the biggest population in Pakistan, as I think at this moment of time, we are number one with the number of cases for hepatitis C. I think previously it was Egypt who have already successfully eradicated hepatitis C from their country, but we are still struggling. And I believe within the next year, there's a program for hepatitis C eradication will be initiated, and we will move into the eradication of hepatitis C. I would like to share with you that we are the first country and we are the first company who produces the iSugar, the made in Pakistan glucose meter, blood sugar meter. And this is, in 34% of Pakistanis are diabetic in Pakistan. So this is one of the biggest burden. And currently, Pakistan is importing around 50 million US dollar blood sugar monitoring strips and meters per year. And from the last 2 years, we started this iSugar meter in Pakistan. We launched in 2023, and now in 2024, this product is available across the country as a most cost-effective solution. And we have all, I can say with the pride that this product has got CE marking. This product has been registered in Middle East, and this product is available across the country. At the same time, our R-Test series for the point of care testing, this is one of our main objective to have point of care testing like near patient testing. So we have now chemistry, we have now coagulation, we have now qualitative rapid test. At the same time, we also have quantitative rapid test. They are now all being produced in Pakistan, and they are now available across the country. Just recently, we have now started lab production of ELISA kits with the name of brand Beyond ELISA, and also the molecular diagnostic with automated extraction viGen, and the blood collection devices. This whole industry is close to 300 million US dollar, which Pakistan, like in such a struggling time when we are facing a lot of challenges on the foreign exchange, we are spending like 99% of Pakistan IVD industry is based on the import. So I think this is going to be a change in Pakistan, that we, as a pioneer of the industry, we have established 5 different production lines, and all of the lines are like, we have like robotic lines, we have fully automated lines. Our teams are fully trained from the technology transfer partners. Our teams, like we have like PhD doctors, we have like PhD scholars and MPhil and other technical stuff is available with us. So this is the change we have just, I think, brought in Pakistan. And I would like to just share a recall in 2001, when in Pakistan, hepatitis C was the big challenge. And our company just, I mean, it was our inception year is 2000. At that time, and we ran the first campaign for the collection of blood in with the support of the news as well as the young group of Pakistan. And we found 14 to 15% Hep C positivity in a city like Islamabad. So at that time, I can just sharing with you a picture when Zubaida Jalal was was one of the key minister, and then President of Pakistan, Rafiq Tarar. So we started the first anti-hepatitis campaign in Pakistan in 2001. And we launched in a hospital like Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences, first automated ELISA system for the screening of hepatitis C. And this was the time when in Pakistan, there was no screening at the blood donation, like Polyclinic Hospital, a federal government service hospital. So there was no blood screening because of the cost, high cost. So we not only reduce the cost, but also we make these products available. So we always took the challenges position, and we launched first real-time PCR Pakistan because, after screening, we need the PCR testing before the treatment options. So we, as a lead in diagnostics, we introduced many, many edge-cutting technologies in Pakistan, and we always work with a passion. Our start was fueled with a passion to support the community, to help the people, and that was one thing that always gave us an edge to lead into the market. So we launched like immunohistochemistry was one of, in Pakistan, there was no immunohistochemistry except some staining and some kind of manual work. So we launched the first immunohistochemistry automation at Shaukat Khanum Hospital, Lahore in 2014. And since that time, we are serving the market across the country at all starts. And so this was one humble start, which was incepted in 2000, which was dreamed in 2000. But of course, this dream really become our reality in 2021 and 2022 during the COVID time. And at this moment of time, we are the only company who have all the dedicated production lines. And now we can say we have the fully automated robotic lines at this moment of time. And we can say that we are looking in future because we have 4 million donations in Pakistan, and we do not have any local manufacturer for the blood bags. And this is, of course, the dilemma of our country, where there is no manufacturing industry. Like at this moment of time, we cannot say that the manufacturing exists in Pakistan. In a country like Iran, in a country like Bangladesh, in a country like India, who are now moving into the export industries, and we are 100% depending on the import, like 240 million population with 4 million donations, we always suffer a lot of like shortages of blood bags, which is the basic thing. But at the same time, I think most of the people are here from the health industry, and we know plasma, which we are wasting every year. We are wasting in Pakistan like 200 to 300,000 liters plasma every year. And we import albumin, we import IVG, we import factors 8, we import NTD, which are hardly available in Pakistan because the developed countries who have the capacity to produce, they give the first preference to their country, to their own nations. So in that situation, so I think this can be changed only if we focus on our local productions. Like for the blood fractionization, I would request that because this is the API for the blood fractionation, the plasma, which we are wasting. So if we put our focus and interest into such kind of manufacturing, it will not only substitute import with the local manufacturing, but first of all, it will make the products available for our people. So I believe that many new companies will come as IVD manufacturers, and because now IVD industry is already grown up across the globe, especially in the post-COVID world. Now it is more focused, and at the same time, most of the companies, they are coming up to, and we believe in a strategic partnership where we can expand, where we can exchange for the technology transfer, where we can look for more options and solutions. So LDS was never a dream, but a long-awaited reality. And if we see today in Pakistan, you can say with the 3.2 billion healthcare sector for the pharma industry, and 10% of the pharma industry, around 320 million IBD industry, we have zero manufacturing. So we have a big gap in Pakistan. If you see in Pakistan, so in different industries, so this at this moment of time, I think healthcare is one of the segment where we need support from different stakeholders across the globe, especially from those Pakistanis who are living abroad, who are living in different like US and the other developed countries, who should come forward to support the healthcare industry in Pakistan. If we see in India, like Make in India is a very popular, like you can say, slogan that has changed the total scenario in India, and now India has moved into the export market. Similarly, in Bangladesh, there's 100% tax holidays for the local manufacturing, and API parts, cash incentives, and the other things. Like Iran, who always focus on the local made products, and they give priority to the local made products in their public procurements. So this is not only popular in these countries, but also in Malaysia, also in Indonesia, also in Saudi Arabia, who are targeting the localization, who are focusing on the localization, and they are, of course, giving all those incentives which are needed for to promote the industry and to expand the industry and to support the industry. But in Pakistan, I think still we are facing the challenges. We do not have a kind of, you can say, a clear roadmap, a clear plan from the institutes. We do not have support from the governmental sides to promote the local industry, to support the local industry. Even the public procurement, most of the times, they put the specifications which support the imported products, which support those products which are being imported from the stringent countries like US, like like Europe, and the other countries. So there is no supportive network, there is no supportive plan, there is no supportive mechanism or any strategy at this moment of time which can motivate especially the investors, especially the local manufacturers who have taken the initiative to produce locally. So those I think investors who have already taken the initiative, they must be motivated. They must be given some kind of incentive. They must be, I think they need some more protection. So at this moment of time, if we see healthcare industry, especially in the services like laboratories, hospitals, pharmaceuticals, medical devices, these are the areas which need more investment, which needs ideas, which needs technology, which needs people, more, I think, trained people from different countries. So if we see, if we look into the healthcare sector in Pakistan, so we are the country where infectious disease is the main dilemma. At this moment of time, Pakistan is maybe, I think, among very few countries where still we are facing the problem of polio. We still have the polio cases every second week. Every week we see the new polio cases are coming up. At the same time, we have very like in typhoid, with like we see in typhoid bug like the multi-drug resistance typhoid emerged from Karachi. So we have problems like dengue, malaria, polio, typhoid, hepatitis. So all these infectious disease where we are suffering, I think we cannot find the solution from the developed countries. We need to find our local solution. And even we have the scientists among us, I think, in this discussion who can support the idea, because for this kind of like say infectious disease, we have typical local serotyping and typical local genotyping. So if we develop a local diagnosis and then treatment will be based on the local diagnosis, it will be more, I think, more local DNA based, local genotype based will be more effective. Otherwise, if we keep trying using the solutions from developed countries, from the other countries, it will not be properly used, it will not be properly diagnosed. So to have the accurate diagnosis, to have the exact diagnosis, we need to depend on our local genotype. So I would like to say, insist those scientists who should come forward to provide the data and to support the data so that we should have solutions depending and based on the local population strengths. Similarly, you see about 16 million people, mostly in children, are living in Pakistan who have been reported different genetic disorders. So in kind of Down syndrome, thalassemia, and all these diseases and all these problems, which we have the local problems, unless we have the local solutions, we cannot find solution to these problems. Like in Pakistan, we have say 30.8 adult population suffering from diabetes. Like we have say we are at this moment of time with the number of cases, we maybe stand number 2 or number 3 in the diabetic. So if we are spending like $50 million only on the import of blood glucose monitoring, so how we can survive? How can we save our exchange? How we can expand our industry? How we can save this foreign exchange to spend on the other things? So I think through the localization and to the local manufacturing and to the local production, this will be a solution to save not only for the healthcare solution, but also for the economical solutions of our country. At the same time, you can say, so at the same time, I can say that the idea which has been taken up, which has been dreamed by LDS Pakistan, this can be taken as one star. When we have taken a journey, but this is not the end of the journey. This is just a beginning, and we need people. We need your support. We need more stakeholders who should come forward, who should be part of us. So those, and I think we believe in giving back to through our society, and we have learned from our country, and we have already grown from our country. So this is the time when we are giving back to our country and to our community, and we believe in a very I think a robust healthcare system in Pakistan, who should be self-reliant, who should be depending on the localization and the local solutions. So this is a kind I would like to invite all the, I think, audience and all those who are the panelists to have more interaction, to have more discussions about the idea of localization and to how to promote and how to make the healthcare system in Pakistan more robust and more localized. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. ZAFAR Mahmood. This was very inspiring and thought-provoking, and this is something that we've been trying to promote from our platform here at APPNA, that we need to have local context and have to have data from Pakistani population where we can come up with solution based on these. So thank you for sharing your insight, and again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I will open it up for our panelists, Dr. Akhtar Hamid, Dr. Sayyid Uzair Ahmed, Dr. Umer Hayat, for their comments, and then we will go to question and answers. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Mr. Zafar Mahmood, for a very enlightening discussion, talk, and sharing. Because you have proven that there are so many gaps, so many opportunities And I don't know, excuse me, lot of expat when they go back to Pakistan, they say that there is no opportunity. Starting from end to end, as you mentioned, from the diabetes care to the blood separation, a continuum of activity, huge potential, import substitution. I don't know why don't people try to work on these ideas and to develop some sort of partnership. And the first thing to take a start is very difficult. But once you take the start, then the industry start developing. There is always somebody who is the first one, and you need to have a courage. So I have seen Mr. Zafar Mahmood way back when he was starting in 2001. So when the president he was mentioning inaugurated that campaign by the name of Social Action Program Initiative. So that was the beginning, and since that, I have seen him growing in many ways, maybe the number one and number two of in vitro diagnostic in Pakistan. So he was very open, very forward looking for any type of activity, very welcoming. If any one of you from here going to Pakistan, please do see, visit, and discuss with him. And I know there is a long list of things, which prevent you. These are the headwinds which stop you from entering. But then there are a conviction, then there is a vision. So fortunately, we have in our attendees another expat from Pakistan, Mr. Asad Zaidi, who is the CEO of APPNEX from California. So he has raised his hand. So before going to the QA window, I will ask the Waleed or the Zafar to please give the mic to Mr. Asad Zaidi for his comment because his hand is raised, and then we will move from there. Yes, over to Mr. Asad Zaidi, please.
Thank you very much. It's quite a pleasure to be here. In my opinion, what we just saw is a phenomenal effort by a single, person or the vision that has now transformed industry, IVD industry in Pakistan. A very, very good effort. I do agree the presentation was more directed, towards the accomplishments of this one particular company. My only thing was that could the person who presented give us an idea how many other IVD industry initiatives are there in Pakistan, or is his company is the only one? A little bit of landscape from a knowledgeable background, from a background where people over here can understand if there are other activities taking place, and see if he can give us an overview, very short overview of what other things exist. I am a biomedical engineer, and I've been involved in developing medical devices and diagnostics for a very long time. And I am quite positive that other people will be able to hear what is going on in Pakistan if he would tell us where other activities are taking place. Thank you.
Zafar, unmute, please.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Asad Saab. And this is very inspiring. And Pakistan diagnostic industry is growing at a higher pace than the global industry because we are 240 million population. And the industry was at a very, very, we can say at the NEEB level before the COVID. And after COVID, the molecular diagnostics and other diagnostic tools, and especially for the early and accurate diagnostics and for point of care diagnostic, these are the segments, and the primary healthcare. So these are the segments where I think many companies are targeting. And we took the initiative during the COVID when we highlighted, you're absolutely right, our accomplishment and our achievement. But this doesn't mean we want to highlight so that we can attract more companies more people who should come into this arena. And this is not a kind of territory, no-go territory. This is a territory where more companies need to come, need to join the hands, and we are very open. And you are, as to your question, yes, there are many companies who are evaluating, who are coming up into the market. There was no like policy or guidelines available from the institutes like DRAP, but now there's a dedicated division for the medical devices, and they are sporting. And many companies are coming up into these industries. And I know many companies who are like into the medical devices like blood pressure monitoring system, like other devices like IV cannulas. Syringes are already manufactured in Pakistan, and they are fulfilling the total country's need at this moment of time. So I believe in the coming months and years, we will have many new companies who will be into this market, and many Chinese companies who are who are developing a kind of local partnership, like joint ventures with the local companies. So this is a very open arena now, and companies are coming up, and we are just sharing our success story. So this is a kind that I believe people should come to appreciate, and there is a lot of potential until unless we all the, for example, pharmaceutical industries, if we see like 2 decades before, it was gone by the multinational. But today, 70% are the local companies. They have the share in the total industry portfolio. So diagnostic and medical devices, which is close to $1 billion. At this moment of time, we can say 90% share is by the multinationals or the foreign companies, and we have local in devices and the other industry like 8 to 10%. So I believe this situation will also change following the pharma industry, pharma practices, and by having a bridging between industry as well as academia. Until unless we have a bridge like between academia and industry, we cannot grow, especially in IVD industry, because we need scientific knowledge to develop the IVD industry and medical devices industry.
Very good. There's one quick question that I wanted to ask you is that, can you estimate the total out of the total number of the market in IVD in Pakistan? How much is this supported by the local, and what it is supported by the importers or the people that are importing? Majority of the companies over there are distributors of large or mid-sized companies from outside of Pakistan. I don't know what is the percentage of really indigenous manufactured IVD, what it is that you are working on. If we would know that percentage, whether it is 1% or 5%, they know that at least 9% is available to move into that to attract not only the talent, but the investment and some sort of a consortium on IVD.
ZAFAR.
This is a $300 million industry at this moment of time, and this is growing at the pace of 10%. Currently, at this moment of time, we can say this is being served by 5 to 6% by the local manufacturing. We are like more on the surface, but there are some other companies who have started and who are manufacturing some products, and partially, you can say in some segments in some cities. But like as I shared with you in the medical devices, currently Pakistan is like fulfilling the total requirement of the country's need by the local manufacturing of the syringes. Similarly, in other devices, there are some local manufacturers are coming up. So I can say like 5 to 6% is being have been substituted by the local manufacturing with the import. But I fully believe, like I can say it, during the last 2 years, like we have been taken up, we are facing the challenge of capacity building, because now at this moment of time, we are working like 24 hours, like 2 shifts per day. It means there is a potential and there is an acceptability. In glucometer, as I shared with you, we are into the diabetic care, we are into the manufacturing of the point of care, we are like vacuum tubes and molecular diagnostic. So there is a huge potential, and I would say like there is a need of the time that people should invest into this industry, and there is a scope. And we have to change the total like market concept and market outlook to move from the import to the local solutions.
So, Dr. Akhtar, do you have something before we move on to?
Yeah, I mean, I must praise that he has taken us through thick and thin of his success story, and he proven himself that when somebody want to perform, they perform under stress. My question to him is, he mentioned about the plasma, which has been wasted somehow, and we are not able to extract those factors like factor 1, factor 8, factor 13, those coagulation factors and other things which we import, especially from outside, like albumin. What can be done, and what he has taken any initiative about this, or anybody else in Pakistan taking initiative? It's a huge loss.
This is unfortunate. You're absolutely right, because in country of 240 million population, we do not have any local manufacturers of these biological products like albumin, NTD, factor 8 for the hemophilia children. During the emergency time, we could not find the albumin, and there is no import because of the pricing challenge and because of the availability challenge from the developed countries. No country is going to export unless they fulfill their own need. Even like India, there's an export ban on these products. And till now, there is no manufacturers, and there has been no initiative, or visibly there is no initiative. Some companies have been looking to collect the plasma and export outside for the exchange of these products. And some companies have been looking, and I think there has been discussion about a national blood transfusion policy and national plasma policy, which could not formulate it so far, and which is still under the discussion and on the table, and it has not been yet announced. When it will be announced, I think, but at the same time, we need some practically a technology transfer partner, and the government should, I think, invite some technology transfer partner. As far as we are concerned, definitely we are evaluating this opportunity. I have been in contact with some international manufacturers. We are in negotiation, and we are in the process of finalization. Maybe our interest is not to export plasma from Pakistan to get the exchange the product, but to use this plasma to produce these products inside Pakistan.
Thank you so much. I think there are a few questions and kind of related to what you just alluded to. Dr. Zara, do you want to field the questions or in the Q&A chat, or you want me to do it?
Dr. Sarfraz, you can go ahead. It's fine. Just
okay. Okay, so there is a question from Nuzat Mushahid about the advice. What is your advice for addressing regulatory issues in the country? What is your experience in terms of regulatory issues for getting your things approved through? I guess they meant DRAP.
DRAP has a sorry.
You are muted, Zafar.
DRAP has a dedicated division for the medical devices, and that is working. And definitely, because of the lack of experience and because of the lack of availability of lack of having any document to promote and to support the local industry, especially the manufacturing facilities, they do not have a clarity on the guidelines for the manufacturing. So that is one, I think, hurdle and one big problem. So whenever anybody apply for some local registration of the products or for the facility, they do not have clarity about the SOPs and about the manufacturing, like any, you can say, guidelines for the manufacturing. So that's why many companies who are taking part, who are participating into the manufacturing, or who are interested to get the manufacturing, they face some hurdles and challenges at the DRAP. But at the same time, I would say that the current leadership in DRAP and the management, they are quite receptive. They are quite, I think, understanding the problems, and they always try to support the idea. And we are getting the desired and required support. So through the discussion and negotiation and changing and sharing the situation, they are always receptive and they are always supportive.
So I think Dr. Omar Hayat wants to say something.
So I think, I would like to add a few comments. First of all, congratulations, Zafar. I mean, what you have achieved. I think this is important point. Like, the regulatory bodies have been quite flexible, and I always say it's a joint venture. Whenever you step in a new territory where the local government may not have even the relevant people on board, but that's how it starts. So I think we should never hesitate to start anything. And as Zafar said, like, the draft has been very receptive, and this is working together. I mean, biologics are there. And one more comment I would really like to make. Zafar, I think whenever anything which is a science based or knowledge based is initiated, even though the target is a one thing, like in this case, for example, in vitro diagnostic, and probably it was for the COVID, because of the urgency you took this step. But the understanding of the disease or understanding of the virus give you also opportunity, or at least set the basis of the knowledge for even the discovery of the biologics. So there is a lot of drugs which are based on the antibodies, based on the peptides. So a lot of biologics are coming up. So I think setting up the stage and generating the knowledge really make the basis for a lot of other functions as well. And I have myself a very recent experience. I mean, we started the trial 360, and Dr. Azad knows, and it was really initiative which I took. Even though I'm a CMC guy, I'm not a clinician. Believe me, when you generate the knowledge, that knowledge is very valuable and can be applied in multiple directions. So back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Umar Ayad. So let me reiterate one thing which was mentioned by Mr. Zafar Mahmood. There are few things where the international solutions do not cater for the need of the local medical community, like he was mentioning about the infectious diseases, particularly the genotype, like he was mentioning, like hepatitis C virus, the genotype which is present in Pakistan may not be the same, the one in Egypt or any other part of the world like US. So if you develop your in vitro diagnostic based on the genotype which is more prevalent in that country, those kits or those devices, their sensitivity may be variable, very compromised. So the choices are limited, particularly, and now we are a global village. So once the COVID started in China, the very few next day, it was there in the US. So now the choices are limited. Either you take it or you face the burden. So for I think the government, the policy maker, the regulator, they should just listen to all of these things. This is purely science. It's not the commercialization. It's not something which we can ignore at this point in time. We have to and we must. So that is the bottom line. And the objective of these merit research webinar is to bring all the people, the clinical researchers, the clinical trial site, the clinical trial organization, and then the entrepreneur. Because you can only make something happen where you have the complementary skills, the people who have the management skill, the manufacturing skill, and then the science, everything. So it's not with the supplementary skills. You need to have the leadership and the people with complementary skill to move forward. So there is a remarks and by Dr. Hashim to Zafar Mahmood that the plasma is not totally wasted. By using the triple bags, they are storing the fresh and which is still used. So do you have any good estimate how much of the plasma which is used as a fresh plasma and how much of this the percentage is being still stored and then wasted? Any comment, or you can comment on that, please. Unmute Zafar. Please unmute Zafar. You are muted. Yes, you are muted once again. Yes, go ahead.
I have an idea. I have a discussion with the leading blood banks in Pakistan. We have close to 3.5 to 4 million donations per year. And of course, not all the blood is being used by the triple bags, but of course, there is a very good, strong trends of using the triple bag so that we can produce the components. And this is one very positive thing that previously the whole blood was used, but now the components are being used as per the requirements. But I think Dr. Nusrat is also, I can see she is also attending the seminar. She can give the exact numbers and she has been working on the blood transfusion policy for Pakistan. But as per my information and knowledge, in every blood bank, they waste some plasma because the plasma is not being used properly. We are producing the plasma. That's why we have the excess plasma. And like Hosseini Blood Bank, like AFIT, like Fatmid, I had a very close discussion with them. And there is a wastage of blood. As per my information and my numbers, we closely have 150,000 to 200,000 liters plasma, which is excessive and which can be used to use as the API for the production of the albumin and the other derivative blood derivatives. But if we transform the whole blood into to use the triple blood bags and to produce the plasma, and then as plasma fractionization as well, and as a plasma like plasma pheresis as well, so we can have the plasma as we need for the production of plasma derivatives to meet our local need 100% through the local productions.
Thank you. I have a question, and we have with us Dr. Junaid Bhatti. Dr. Bhatti, can you unmute yourself and camera on? You work on biobanking, so that is a associated and allied field with in vitro diagnostic. That is a very valuable resource. As you mentioned about the plasma, so we are so rich in biomaterial. So is there any activity to create a biobank? And I know there is some activity at Shaukat Khanum, but other than that, the opportunity was never materialized. So over to you, Dr. Junaid Bhatti, how do you see the biobanking role to associate with in vitro diagnostic and any potential? Please go ahead.
So I think there is definitely an opportunity. It's just that how we come together and work with different organizations. It's good to know that TRAP is working with having this additional division. But I know that Mr. Zafar has been working very hard to bring all these technologies, and I think there needs to be more discussion, and we just have to work more. I think biobanking is a great potential there. It's just that we have not materialized it in any significant way in the past 5 or 10 years, where more work needs to be done. There are small pockets of successes here and there, but not everyone else is there. But again, congratulations for the presentation today. And I will keep continuing with Dr. Akhtar and Dr. Razak to figure out if we can do something for you from here.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Junaid. Over to you, Dr. Sarfraz, please.
So I think maybe we have time for one quick question and then we will end. So I think there was somebody was asking about the production of IVIG or immunoglobulin that they have experienced that was very expensive and they couldn't get it. So do we have any idea where are we at with that?
Yes, Zafar, please unmute and please. You are muted, Zafar.
Yes. For IVD production, of course, I couldn't. Can Dr. Sarfraz, can you repeat the question?
So they have asked about the immunoglobulin production. So do you have any idea where we are at with immunoglobulin?
Okay, immunoglobulin is same from the plasma. Today we do not have IVG production, that is immunoglobulin in Pakistan. We are 100% we are importing, and unfortunately this is mostly unavailable in the country because no country across the globe who can export plasma, who are willing to export to Pakistan because of the pricing challenge and because of the other things. And so IVG,
Please carry on. Yeah.
IVG, like immunoglobulin, is also the part as derivative of the plasma, and we do not have any local production, and we are depending 100% on import, and mostly this is not available. Anyone like institute like Indus Hospital, they are always suffering for the shortages, and we are supporting them also in the import of the plasma as import. But locally, this is not available, and this is also a derivative of plasma. So once anybody start local fractionization of plasma, IVG will be available to the local source.
So, Dr. Sarfraz, just a quick association. Mr. Asad Zadi has kindly offered that he is here on the California, that anything and technology, sport, or any sharing of knowledge is available to share with ZAFAR or any partner from Pakistan. So they have mentioned their contact detail, and that I will pass on to Mr. ZAFAR, okay, for any next step. So there should be an action point. So thank you very much from my side, and over to Dr. Sarfraz.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zair, and I think that's a perfect conclusion to our discussion today. So again, thank you so much, Mr. Zafar Mahmood, for an inspiring story about coming up with solutions, local solutions for the local problems, and how if there is a will, there is a way, and truly inspiring for all of us. And I think we can all learn and try to contribute in our own ways. And thank you so much for all the audience participants who have joined, and they were very active. And I see that there are a lot of comments and questions. I'm sorry we could not get to all the questions. And finally, thank you to the panelists, Dr. Zair, Dr. Akhtar Hamid, Dr. Junaid Bhatti, Asif Asad Zadi, and Dr. Umar Hayat. And lastly, but not least, is the technical team, as Waleed and his team. They're always there to make sure that these things are done in a seamless manner. So there's a lot of work that goes behind the scene. But thank you so much for everyone. And we will meet you in 2 weeks from now, same place, same time. And till then, take care, stay well, and Khuda Hafiz.